Hello YTPC, John Meadows Soul Patch Piper, coming to you on a windy day in northeast Atlanta. I am perched up on an outside stairwell here, trying to shield myself from some of the wind. Breeze actually feels good today because it's hot here. So I'll take the breeze. I'm just not sure how much it's going to interfere with this recording. So we'll give it a shot. I'm enjoying an unnamed English blend today in my Frankenstein pot. So this is a great bowl for English because it's wide, medium-sized bowl, but it's wide and not so deep, not narrow. Good for the Latakias. Now I said this is an unnamed blend. It actually does have a name, but it's also the subject of an upcoming tobacco review that I'm going to do and post up here. So yeah. My last video I said I was going to do some reviews of some proprietary blends I had picked up in recent travels. To be honest with you, I've struggled with this concept a little bit. I didn't lose any sleep over it, but I did struggle a little bit with whether I should post them or not. But based on my experience with YTPC, what I gained from other people posting reviews, I should probably do this because it is a way of giving back. It might be, I'm hoping it will be at least mildly entertaining, if nothing else. But I also wanted to share with you guys, this is the main reason, how I have come to rate tobacco blends. How I would do a review formally, because this is how I do it for me. And I think there's value in seeing what other guys do, how they do it. So, you know, I'm not a Bradley from Stuff and Things. I don't have the nuanced abilities that Bradley has in pulling out the various tobacco components. I'm also nowhere nearly as what's the word I'm looking for? Bradley's a bit polished in what he does, and I think that's a good thing. But he's real. I've got that down. I am who I am. But I don't need to be a Bradley, because Bradley's smoking experience is not John Meadows' smoking experience. It's not your smoking experience. But I've learned a lot from Bradley. I've really liked his channel for a couple of years now and have followed it routinely. I've taken his reviews and tried to incorporate my own reviews of the same tobaccos by comparison, just to see, excuse me, I got a nose itch, just to see if I'm anywhere near where he is. Yeah, so I'm not Bradley, don't need to be Bradley, don't want to pretend to be Bradley or Mutton Chop or Mike over at Briar Blues or anybody else who's much better versed, I would consider much better versed at giving tobacco reviews. But in my pipe journey, I have evolved a system to rank, to grade, to characterize, that's a better word, whatever it is I'm putting in a pipe and smoking. So since this has gone out and I'm sort of holding the camera here, helping to steady it, let me see if I can get a relight going. Yeah, thought I'd share with you my system, okay? See how windy it is? Man, feels good though, I'm gonna tell you. All right, I'm gonna do all the standard things, cover the basics. Obviously, name of the blend, who manufactures it, or who it's manufactured for, what type of blend it is, what are the component tobaccos, what the cut is, what the package moisture is like, the package aroma, and all that. I'll cover the basics with my own flair, of course, and my own way of doing it. My verbiage, my descriptives will probably be similar to others, but also different. That would make sense. Yeah, I'm going to talk about one of the first things I do is smell the tobacco, and I know that's very common. A lot of guys do that too. You open up the tin, or you open up the bag, or the jar, or whatever you're storing it in, and you take in those aromas. I try to do that with every bowl I smoke, because part of the experience. That was a no sight relight. That's cool. Pipe smoking, it's nuanced with a lot of different inputs. Aroma being a big one, I think. Taste being a huge one. And all these things are subjective. And that's the thing about tobacco reviews. They're all subjective. None of them are... You can be somewhat scientific with it, but you're not going to be exact. If you and I were to pass around the same tin of tobacco, we may smell some very similar things, may describe it in similar ways, but we may also pick up different aromas. Same way with taste. We're going to taste it differently. Same way with the nicotine impact, the way it burns. That varies by pipe. There's so many variables. You just can't accurately capture it all so that it levels the playing field. Highly subjective. So after I smell it, the next thing I want to look at is the initial light. I know Mike at Briar Blues, he takes a puff on the pipe before he even lights it. That's kind of cool. But depending on the cleanliness of your pipe, that may not be so relative, so useful. But that initial light, that char light, and the initial light afterwards, I have found to be one of the things I tend to focus on, because it's the first impression. It's that initial impression of the bowl, and that can be different. Same tobacco, different pipes can be different. Same tobacco, same pipes, different day. That could be a little different too. All right, after the initial light impressions, where I'm trying to catch the taste of it, the smell of it, the feel of my palate, I'm gonna smoke the dang bowl, and I want to know how that taste and how that mouthfeel progresses throughout the bowl. Typically looking at it at the start, at the third of the way through, 2/3 of the way through, and how it finishes. I'm gonna look for the palate feel and the flavor. I want to know what the dominant tobacco tastes are, or topping tastes are. I want to know if it's harsh. I'm trying to determine if it's pleasant. Is there a tartness? Is there a smokiness? Is there a grassy taste? Citrusy, raisins, all the typical descriptives that we use. Leathery for Latakia blends is I really home in on those. I'm also looking to see if it's how mellow it is, how strong it is, or if it's subdued. So I'm looking for all those things. And then the burn. I want to know if it's burning hot. Is it burning cool? Is it ashy? Do I have to keep dumping the ash out, like I'm going to have to do with this one right here? That top layer of ash, to me, can really have an impact on the flavor and the aromas that you're getting while you're smoking it. I'm going to look at the moisture content. Is it gurgling? Ooh, look at that smoke. Also going to look at the aftertaste. I do focus on the aftertaste a lot too. Just like that initial taste, how does it leave me feeling in my mouth, on my tongue, afterwards? Some tobaccos are really pleasant afterwards, and some of them they're pleasant during the smoke, but afterwards it's kind of a harsh thing for me. I don't favor those as much. Not to say I won't smoke them up again, but I'm also going to look at the nic hit, which I have found is also highly subjective. If I'm running on an empty stomach, typically the nicotine hit for me is going to be a little heavier. But you know, I'm going to characterize it. Is it mild? Is it average? Is it lump in the throat, set me on my can kind of nic hit? Do I get a head buzz out of it? That sort of thing. And one thing I try to do also is I try to discern what might pair well with the tobacco. I like to have a drink nearby when I'm smoking. You know, so what would it pair well with? A soda, you know, Coke, Dr. Pepper, Sprite, iced tea, hot tea, coffee, black, coffee with cream and sugar, you know, beer, wine, whatever, water. And then the questions that I'm asking myself while I'm doing my reviews are, you know, can I detect the components? Which ones am I detecting? How well do those components blend, right? So how easy can I pull each of them out? Can I really taste the Virginia and the Burley and the Perique? Do I get more of that distinction through the retrohale? That kind of thing. Do the components fight one another, or do they just sort of mesh together? Another question is, did I get what I was expecting to get, or was it different? And if so, how and why? Big one for me is, am I glad I smoked it? Was that a good bowl? Is that a repeatable thing? Is that a do-over? Or is that a, you know, let's put this away for a while, let it age, see if it gets better? Or is it, you know, I need to find someone else to give this to, because I don't want to do that again. I've had a couple of those, not many. And then the final thing, after I've smoked several bowls of a tobacco with the same blend, where does it fit for me? So is it something I'm going to put in my rotation? Is it something that I'm going to, you know, smoke once in a while, in the evenings, at night when I want something strong, in the mornings maybe when I want something light, tangy, citrusy, you know, or is it one of those things that's going to be like an everyday thing? I could see myself smoking that every day. And then just general comments, right? So that's kind of how I want to do it, and well, that's how I do it. I want to share that with you guys. I've got some, again, not to repeat myself, but some proprietary blends that I have found to be unique. You know, not earth-shattering necessarily, but different. And you would have to call up the shop to get them. And I think that's really cool too. And I want to share my impressions of those with you as well, some that you probably can order as well. But anyway, I'm not going to get big into reviews. It's not what I want to make my channel about. But I do want to have that as an element to it. So there you go. That's my intentions with this pipe that keeps wanting to go out. I've shared it with you. That's how I'm going to do my blend reviews. That's how I do my blend reviews. And hopefully you guys will get something out of it. And it'll be useful to you. And maybe inspire you to try something new, something different. And see how your reviews compare with mine. So that's it. And with that, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to relight this bowl and I'm going to finish it. And I'm going to try to move into a spot where I can actually enjoy some of this breeze, because I'm a little sweating here. It's hot. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye.